Moises Caicedo versus Declan Rice is guaranteed football cinema, whilst Arne Slot insists that his Liverpool future is safe and Portugal are officially world champions at U17 level. This is DMAC Daily. A Premier League clash with potential title implications, Chelsea versus Arsenal, and at the centre of this London derby sits one of the biggest debates in English football right now. Moises Caicedo versus Declan Rice. So who's better? Who's more influential? And another angle or question to consider, is this even a sensible comparison? Now on paper, it's simple to compare them, right? They're two all-action midfielders, two British record signings, two players whose performances essentially dictate how their teams function. But the deeper you dig, the more you realize these two aren't like-for-like midfielders, at least in correlation to their roles in their respective teams. Caicedo, under manager Enzo Maresca, is more often than not utilized as a classic number 6, a pressure-breaking ball winner. His job is to sniff out danger, pouncing on loose balls to give Chelsea the structure they sometimes lack. In terms of aggressive duel-winning midfielders, he's as elite as they come. His technical qualities are also of a very high level, and he's capable of scoring goals when given the opportunity to, with 3 Premier League goals this season, including 2 belters against Liverpool and Brentford, eclipsing his total from the previous 2 seasons. Now, Rice is similar to Caicedo in many ways, yet different. Yes, he defends. Yes, his physical presence is immense, but he's more of a hybrid, somewhere between a holding midfielder and a box-to-box 8. Arteta wants him to drive forward to turn transitions into attack. When he steps into space and threads a pass into half spaces, Arsenal's entire structure moves up the pitch. Adding to that, this guy's delivery is outrageously good. So already the debate becomes more complicated than who has better stats, right? Like Caicedo leads in tackles, interceptions, and recoveries. Rice leads in progressive carries, touches in the final third, and forward pass volume. The numbers don't really prove anything. It only emphasizes that they're standout performers in their specific roles. But that doesn't mean the rivalry isn't real, at least for us fans and pundits. The headlines have been brewing for some time now. Who is the Premier League's best midfielder? That's the showpiece. That's the marketing of it all. And honestly, that's part of the excitement. In Spain, it's now Pedri v Bellingham. The Premier League has had some historical midfield rivalries too, between Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes, and in my opinion, the best of all, Roy Keane versus Patrick Vieira. Now that one had some proper spice to it. Not sure if the modern day equivalent is similar. There isn't any bad blood between the pair as of now. In fact, Rice has come out actively praising his opponent, telling CBS Sports, "I have a lot of respect for Moises. I had him in my PFA Team of the Year last year." But he also pushed back on the direct comparison, saying he's a full-blown 6, while I am more of a box-to-box number 8. Surprisingly though, the former coach at Caicedo's boyhood club Independiente remains adamant that the Ecuadorian's qualities are actually suited to a higher role. Moises had a bigger impact in the game and helped the team more as a number 8 because he had the ability to score, the last pass, he was able to get into the box, and he was very aggressive in the first pressure. Under Graham Potter at Brighton, he often featured as an 8. It was actually De Zerbi who really transformed him into that deeper role. Now, even if the rivalry between the pair is largely manufactured outside the dressing rooms, its consequences are still very real inside them. Midfield control is likely to dictate the match on Sunday and potentially the future of the title race. Chelsea will rely on their midfield destroyer to disrupt Arsenal's rhythm, while the Gunners hope their number 8, or rather their number 41, can be the difference maker both offensively and defensively. This is why many pundits perceive this matchup as a game within the game. The match might be won by goal scorers, but it will most likely be decided by the midfielder who bends the tactical battle in his team's favor. There's a lot of nuance at play here, so I think the debate shouldn't be who is better overall, but rather who is more valuable to the system they're in. Caicedo anchors Chelsea. Rice elevates Arsenal. They both solve different problems, and that is what makes their duel compelling rather than conclusive. This game may sway a lot of people's opinions, but I think this rivalry has only just begun. These two are nowhere near the peak of their powers. Caicedo's 24, Rice is 26. We've got at least another 5 years minimum to see this rivalry blossom. But what are your thoughts on Rice v Caicedo? Let me know below. Staying in English football, and we all know the Reds are down bad right now, yet their manager publicly insists that he retains the full backing of the club's hierarchy. The 4-1 defeat to PSV at Anfield, the team's 9th loss in 12 matches, has deepened the pressure on both Slot and the squad, with many supporters now believing that the Slot era is simply doomed. Yet despite this toxicity festering, sources close to FSG, Michael Edwards, and sporting director Richard Hughes indicate that confidence in Slot has not wavered and that the club's leadership still see him as the right figure to steer Liverpool through their current crisis rather than looking elsewhere. Slot has been consistent in saying that conversations with upper management have remained unchanged. He reiterated that the message from above continues to be that, quote, "We fight on, we try to improve." Within the club's leadership, the downturn in performances is viewed not as a managerial failure per se, but rather a collective drop in standards exacerbated by injuries and a squad still adjusting to a new philosophy after years of operating under Jurgen Klopp. An interesting outlook considering Slot's already been in the job for over a year now. The manager has also rejected the narrative that he has been let down by his players or that he's lost the dressing room, instead framing the slump as a team-wide responsibility. Jamie Carragher made a damning assessment of Slot's future, saying Arne Slot has a week to save his job. I assume he's referring to the next 3 match days, all Premier League games that are winnable on paper, although given the current circumstances will be complicated. Another issue to consider for Liverpool is if things don't improve soon, let's say they do sack Slot, who are you bringing in to replace him? There are very few elite and available managers on the market right now, so the likes of Xabi Alonso and Julian Nagelsmann, both linked heavily with the club previously, are definitely not in the race. I can't envision someone like Zidane stepping into the job mid-season. Maybe Xavi could make sense, but again, I have my doubts. I think the most likely scenario if Slot were to be sacked is that an interim appointment would be made for the remainder of the season. It's got Stevie G written all over it. I saw some outlets linking Big Ange with the job, but that seems a little too insane of a proposition. Moving to international football, and Portugal have won the FIFA U17 World Cup for the first time in the nation's history, having defeated Austria in the final 1-0, courtesy of Benfica sensation Anísio Cabral's lone strike. Mateus Mide was awarded the prestigious Golden Ball, having provided 6 goal contributions in 8 games from midfield, and goalkeeper Romário Cunha took home the Golden Glove. This Portuguese side didn't concede a single goal from the round of 16 onwards. I've never seen that before. We could be looking at a new golden generation within Portuguese football, as this triumph comes off the back of a dominant European U17 championship earlier in the summer. Gotta also give credit to this Austria side though. They look like they've got a serious prodigy of their own in the ranks in Moser of Salzburg. 10 goal involvements in 8 games this tournament, only 2 goals shy of the all-time goal scoring record set by Victor Osimhen back in 2015. This nation also pretty much destroyed everyone on their way to their first ever World Cup final before narrowly falling short to Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo took to IG to celebrate his nation's success, saying, "Giants, congratulations, World Cup champions." Maybe we'll be seeing his son at the next U17 event. I mean, Cristiano Jr. just made his U16 debut after all. Exciting times ahead either way for the next gen of Portugal. Anyways, guys, that's a wrap for this week's DMAC Daily. We're properly back now, guys, I promise. Shout out to that one commenter saying he won't get his haircut till DMAC Daily gets 5 days in a row. It's done. Time to call up your barber. See you next time.